Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin. I forgot to grab my stitch marker of the day again. Oh goodness. Okay, so hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin. Today is Saturday, which means it is time. I was trying to find the day for my weekly roundup. Yeah! So, weekly roundup is where we go through my weekend crafting. Is it literally the last one I'm pulling out? Literally the last one is a stitch marker. Anyway, so weekly roundup, we go through my weekend crafting. We talk about my whips, works in progress, and any FOs, finished objects, I may have. We also sometimes talk about the book, but I'm going to be honest, lately and again today, I have forgotten to grab the book. So no, we're not going to talk about that. I have also, from Ellie, her St. Patrick's Day set of stitch markers, and they have been fabulous. We are on day 4, so this is the Ellie's Yarny Crafts and More. There we go. So day 4 in this very pretty gold sparkly paper with the shamrock stickers. And let's see what this stitch marker is. Oh, this one's pretty. I mean, they're all pretty. This one is, I'm not sure if these are wood or plastic, but there's 2 detailed beads that are kind of, I'm going to say carved, for lack of a better word. Green with gold paint, and then there's a gold bead on the bottom, and there are 3 gold beads in between. Here we go. Very pretty. Very pretty. And I like how substantial this one is, because on larger projects, you know, sometimes you can see a bigger, sturdier stitch marker. Let's put this on my holder. And here you go. I do know Ellie has a spring set currently available, so if you'd like to get a set from her, please reach out. I'll have her channel linked down below. Oh, focus. Maybe? Focus. There we go. I believe she put out a video about it, so just a little sneak peek of what maybe you can expect. Yeah. I have never been disappointed by an Ellie set. I do not believe you would be as well. So there we go. My stitch marker of the day. We have on this one, I would call this 3 finished objects. Some might call it 2. We can talk about why I might disagree with some people. So first, if you remember, I think we only showed this on our 2500 live, but for Christmas, I did get a little bit of yarn. I asked Brian not to go crazy because, you know, my yarn situation. But he did take the kiddos to an LYS. Where did I put the remainder of that ball? I don't know. This is a Malabrigo yarn that Chomps picked out. And he picked out the pom as well. And this is the hat I made for him. Where's Hattie? She's behind me. Yes, she is. And this hat is a free pattern I found on Ravelry. It's called 2x2 by Anne G. Anne is A-N-N-E, and then just the letter G. And basically, it's a 2x2 rib, and then it has a really interesting decrease pattern that I liked. And here it is. So you do, like, it says 8.5 to 9.5 inches of ribbing. I did about 8.5, and then you do these decreases that kind of make like a, I don't even know how to describe it. I just think it looked really neat. And there it is. So he's excited. He's got a new hat. This was on the kitchen table. This was my downstairs project. So I'm going to show this to you, and it's got like food stains all over it. But here it is. 2x2 by Ann G. She does not have a palm on it. I added a palm, of course. So there you go. This is a standard worsted weight yarn. She wants 200 yards of a worsted weight, 100 gram skein hank. You're gonna have enough. Size 4 millimeter US 16-inch circular needles, and then she wants you to do double pointed. She wants you to hit gauge on this, but it's because it's a 2x2 rib, it's going to be very stretchy. I did not use a 4 millimeter. I used a 4.5 because that's what I had down there already for the prior project I was working on. So I just used the same needles. There you go. I'm going to put this to the side so I can put this in. There's my binders. Put it back in my binder. But there you go. He is very excited for his red hat. This one has like the snappy thing, and I really find the ones with the snaps to be extra hard to shake out to look nice. But that's okay. That's just my own opinion. The one with the elastic, it's like I don't want to put too much pressure on my foam head to deform it. Just gotta snap it back on. There we go. There you go. A red hat. Malabrigo. I think it's Rios. In the solid colors. The other thing that might be 1 or 2 finished objects depending on your perspective. I finished a pair of socks. I call this 2 because 1 sock is a journey in and of itself. So 2, yes. These are more socks from that Project for Awesome perk I got a couple years ago. It's Darcy Anderson designed all the socks in that collection. These are called the Froggy socks. She did want you to do a little embroidery over the eyes here on the frog. I didn't do it. She also, her pattern calls for only 2 colors. I did 3 colors because I had all of these partials and they were sitting next to each other on the shelf, and I said, those look nice together. And I think they do. So there you go. Little frogs. And then the stripes. And she had a different heel. I did my standard slip stitch heel. And there we go. These are for Chomps. I don't have the pattern to show you because Little Miss Bingo, as I was working on them, kept saying, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. So I'm just going to roll into another pair of those. I have an itch. Roll into another pair of those. That's my car project. So it's all still in my car for me to work on. But he will be excited. He loves his mama socks. So that is it for my whips. And I feel quite good. I feel really, really good about that. The socks, like I said, are kind of a journey in and of themselves. And I get extra excited when I finish car projects for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't share them with you much while I'm doing them. And they're kind of like a secret extra project, you know? Anyway, what next? I forgot to show you this last week and it was sitting here in the room. I got a refill for my pickle jar and I am making the bias scarf. So the original pickle jar came with 1 pattern. It's that cowl that I made last year. The pickle jar I bought included a 2nd pattern for a bias scarf. I got a refill and I'm starting to make that bias scarf. I just finished my 3rd mini and here we're going. I pick at random. So it's kind of I don't think it's going to end up as a boomerang, but we'll see. I'm kind of confused about, maybe it is going to end up kind of boomerang-y, crescent-y. Yeah, as I think about it, I think it's going to end up a little crescent-y. But here we go. I think it's cute. Ended up with 2 kind of matching. But let's see what the jar of fate says for this one. Because the jar is still full, I can fit my hand in to pick it. When it gets to the point that I can't get my hand in the jar anymore, I'll have the kiddos pick. So, 1, 2, 3, close my eyes, my fingers grab this one. Oh, that'll look nice. I thought I was going to get this one. I think that'll be pretty. And it's hard when they're all just jammed in there. It's hard to shake it up or get much, but there you go. That will be, oh, I just have a stitch marker here to mark which is the right side. So I know what I'm doing, because it's a 2-row repeat, right side, wrong side. So you just have to know which side of the work you're on. So there we go. Lovely kind of dark pinks, magentas, and white. I get a little cool. I will start working on that. And I'm trying to add one. These are micro minis. These are 5-gram minis, roughly 23 yards, I believe. So try to do one of those a week. The other project I have been working on in here is my daughter's Rave C2C. I am nearly done with this color. I thought I was going to finish it this week. I just didn't quite get it. So we've done unicorn, and now we're doing like icy or whatever. And the next one is going to be Cyan Crush, the pink and blue. There you go. Some more. Couple more rows done on that one. Let's stick the crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook on that. This I'm using a 4 millimeter, right? Yep, US 6 4 millimeter. When you buy the pickle jar, it comes with, or mine came with this circular needle. It's a Knitter's Pride wooden circular needle. I quite like it. Alrighty, so what else do I have in my works in progress? Okay, 2024 was my year of Amigurumi. I am still working because my kiddos are obsessed. Last week I finished the monkey, which means I thought I heard the dogs. The kids got to pick, and no, it's our neighbor's dogs. This one surprised me. I thought Chomps was going to want the owl and Bingo was going to want the nightingale. But no. So I let the kids flip-flop who gets to pick first. Bingo picked first last time, so it was Chomps's turn to pick first this time. And Bingo blurted out, "Oh, I want the owl." And I said, "Oh, honey, no. Chomps gets to pick first. And, yeah, we'll see." He said, "Oh, that's okay because I wanted the nightingale anyway." So, there we go. He wants the nightingale. This is the next pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using Crochet Cute Critters by Sarah Zimmerman, who is Repeat Crafter Me on the YouTubes. Of course, the kiddos get to pick their colors. They make all the design decisions. I just do the crafting. So they pick their eyes, they pick their colors, they pick whatever nose or anything that has to go onto the thing. So he, of course, wanted a red body, but he wants the yellow to stay yellow. So he wants the yellow patch on the tummy and a yellow beak. I have a head. So I finished the head. This is larger than I thought it was going to be given the picture for the eyes. I think they're orange. He thinks they're brown, but he did not want the plain black eyes. And of all strange things, normally he picks 2 different eyes, but he wanted the same color, so they are both brown in his opinion. I think they're orange. I don't know though. I bought that set of eyes from Amazon like 2 years ago. So I have no idea what they said they were. Anyway, what else do I have? Okay. Because your girl's a mess. I am a mess. This year is supposed to be the year I focus on tackling things. I want to control my yarn collection and I want to work down my whips. On these weekly roundups, I have been nominating 3 projects and saying this is my first priority, this is my second, this is my third. I have found myself not excited to work on those projects anymore. So it's like I work on them a little bit, I touch them, but they're not the ones that have kind of drawn me in lately. And I'm wondering, Shannon from Another Yarn had tried this. Oh, honey, did you start that at the end of last year or was it the beginning of this year? I don't remember. But she was doing this thing where she was just working on the projects that excited her, that moved her. She was doing the ones she wanted to do, and she wanted to see if that would keep her more productive. I think I have been quite productive, so I don't think my productivity is lagging or anything, but what I have found is now I have an abundance of large projects that I'm taking little bites out of every week, which, I mean, if I keep doing that, we're going to have one of those, you know, Sundays. This is Saturday. I almost said Wednesday because I was trying to say weekly, and then I said Sunday. Like I said, your girl's having some problems here. When we had one of those days where it's like, boom, I finished this, I finished this, I finished this, which is an exciting time. But I think I need the endorphin rush of finishing things. So I think I need to have some smaller projects interspersed with my larger ones. Now, I am still doing the Wednesday Wipeout, which a washcloth is a smaller project. But I think I need more than one smaller project. I'm going to be honest. So, this is what I would like to do. Or actually, this is what I found. I still want to work down all of the whips. That is a big goal of mine. But I am really drawn, in doing this whole yarn management thing, we're talking about things I wanted to make with all of that yarn. And I'm, of course, referencing my yarn wall, which is off to the camera here. I've really been wanting to grab that yarn and make those things. And that's what's exciting me right now. So, that's what I would like to try to cycle in and add in. To that end, I am going to, with my bigger projects here, pick one and have that be a focus project to try to finish. Now I'm saying one because you know Ray and I have done we're doing the dragon blanket thing. So I need to have time to work on that so I get that done in a timely manner. So I'm always going to be working on that in the background too, but you're not going to see it as frequently. So my big project you're going to see, I still want to get rid of that box of neon yarn. So this week, I am going to make a big push to try to finish that yarn. To that end, I did finish this skein, which is Electrify, in that blanket. It's a Creative Grandma blanket. It's a new one. I think this is my favorite of the Neon Lights colorways. Electrify. It's the yellow, green, blue, and purple. I think it's so much fun. This is a newer blanket on Glenda's channel. It's like Cody made it, and then she made a tutorial on it. I don't know what it was named, but it's like something chevrons. So there it is. I have 2 more colors. I'm slightly concerned as to how long this blanket is going to be. I do have some black yarn in that box that I was excluding from this because I thought I could just pull that out and put it towards other projects, and it didn't really bother me. If I get all of the neon yarn in and I feel like the blanket isn't long enough, I'll add on with the black. What I loved about this blanket is there's no border. So with the blankets I had been doing before, I always felt like I had to hold back and make sure I had yarn for the border. This one, I know I can just work it all into the blanket, not have to save for the border, and it'll be done at some point. So, like I said, I have 2 more colors in the neon yarn. I would love to get that done this week. There are projects I will still continue to touch at least every day. And that's my Fridays with Fred sweater, and there I've been doing at least 2 rows a day. And then I have the Tackle It Tuesday sweater is another one I will touch at least for 2 rows every day to make sure those are being moved forward for those segments. But I'm trying to drill down and finish that. Now, I said I was really inspired to use yarn off of the wall. So I gave in, and I had a 10-pack of this Black Friday 8/8 cotton from Hobby. And I started, it was a 10-pack. I started this cute, that's the back side. Yep, there's my seam. This cute little dress for Miss Bingo. So it's got the sleeves. I fitted the bodice to her, so I know this one fits well. It's just half double crochet kind of tube bodice. And then I'm using shell stitches for the skirt. I'm using a US 5 crochet hook. And here it is. This is, finishing this one will be my 6th of the 10 skeins of this yarn. So then I will have 4 more to add in. I believe if I finish that blanket, I think I could potentially finish this and that blanket. I would love to be cycling in smaller projects from that thing. So I do not want to grab, like, I had that sparkle yarn and I was like, oh, I want to make this sweater from Angela. That's not a project I would grab for, but like Chomps' gemstone sweater was kind of the start of this whole urge to grab off that wall. I mean, it's a project, it's a smaller, more discreet project. Kids' clothes do not take as long as adult clothes, let's be honest. I crochet much faster than I knit. But yeah, like smaller projects like that will cycle yarn out of there. And I still feel like it's within the spirit of what I'm trying to do on the channel this year. And using my yarn collection and making it make beautiful things. That's the whole point, right? I keep thinking I hear the dogs doing something naughty downstairs. Okay. Now, last week, I had also talked about my twists and turns and how we were going to have a larger conversation. Okay, so there is going to be a weird cut here in the video. I don't remember what I was talking about before I went on to talk about my Stephen West shawl. As I sat here talking to you about it, I think this topic is probably worthy of its own separate video to get into it. So I think my Tackle It Tuesday this week is, well, we'll touch base on the flame sweater, but it's going to mostly focus on what to do with this. And because I think having a broader discussion of when is enough's enough. Is that the saying? Anyway, on a project, it's a hard decision, especially when it's such a long-term project that you've worked a lot on. I think it deserves maybe a longer discussion and its own discussion. So let's do that. I'm going to put this back in the bag. I'm going to set this to the side here so I have it for Tuesday ready to talk about. But we're going to, if you see a weird cut, that is why. I've changed my mind midstream, and I know sometimes I just cut stuff in editing and I don't tell you I've cut it, but upon, as I talked about it, I have realized it needs to be cut. So I think I can address that now. So yeah, that's everything I have to share with you. I guess if you're curious, I did pick that up a couple of times this week to work on it. And again, I did absolutely zero work on it. I could not make myself do it. So, yeah, we need to talk about it. I read a little bit in my book, not a ton. It's The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive. I enjoy it. I think it's a cool magic system. I think the characters are engaging. I try to stay away from like specific book spoilers as I'm reading. But I know at least one of you has recently read it, and you think it gets very exciting at about the point I'm at. So I'm like re-energized to read it. Not that I ever lost the energy, but let's be honest, with Brian away, I was so tired. Reading at night was not a priority. Going to sleep and getting the rest was a priority. So yeah, I'm getting back into making reading a bigger priority again. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I did see something that makes me a little concerned that my feelings on characters is misplaced. So right now there's a couple of main characters, and one of them is the uncle to the king. And his name is Dalinar. I'm going to say Dalinar. If I'm supposed to pronounce it differently, let me know. Dalinar is like, apparently his brother was the king. In the very beginning of the book, he gets assassinated. So I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. It kind of sets up the whole book. And he, with his brother, was historically like the model soldier. He was like some superhero soldier. But with the death of his brother, things have been happening to him, and he's kind of, I don't think it's giving it away too much to say he's kind of losing his taste for battle. And to me, right now in the book, I like him as a character. He seems very noble. He seems like he's really kind of trying to fight for a good cause and trying to mentor his nephew, who's now king, in a good way. And I've read some things that people that imply he is actually a villain. And that makes me so sad. And I don't know, but maybe that's why the book gets so good, if it can turn your feelings like that. I don't know, it's interesting. So I kind of want to see, am I going to turn on that? Because I really like him right now. I really do. I don't know. Don't spoil it if you know what's going to happen. That's going to turn my feelings. I want to feel it in the moment as I read it. But I'm a little scared now. I'm a little scared. I am going to go ahead, though, and let you go. I will talk to you later. Oh, I finished that red hat. I've started the other hat with the yarn that Bingo picked out. I posted a picture of me working on it on Instagram. She picked out some Malabrigo Mecca. Yep. I called it Rasta at first, and then I had to check. It's Mecca in purple, and then a purple palm for it. It's the Adley hat, but I don't recall who designed it off the top of my head. Just if you're curious, you'll see it when it's done. The kind of project I have on the main level of the house, I often forget to grab for my weekly videos. So there you go. I will talk to you guys later and get to editing. Okie dokie. Bye!